U.S. Department of Treasury, the Community Development Financial Institution Funds, U.S. Department of Treasury, Agency Financial Report, Fiscal Year 2025. Um, Message from Director of Management Discussion Analysis Unaudited Independent Auditor Reports Financial Statement Balance Sheet Statement Net Cost Change in Net Position Statement Budget Resources Notice of Financial Statement Required Supplementary Information Unaudited Other Information Unaudited Appendix A Acronyms Unaudited. Message from the Director. I'm pleased to present with the fiscal year of 2025 with the Agent Financial Report United States with the Department of Treasury, Community Development and Financial Institution Fund, with the Community Development and Financial Institution Fund, recipient successful leverage buildings for private sector investment, create jobs, building affordable housing, invest with a neighborhood revitalization initiative in communities lacking access to traditional lending banking institution. As for financial performance, I'm pleased to report that the Community Development and Financial Institution Fund has received an unmodified audited opinion of financial statements based on internal evaluation of financial and performance data that have been validated, complete, reliable. The Community Development and Financial Innovation Fund remains poised to implement missions expanding economic opportunity for undeserved people and communities by supporting growth and capacity of the network. Community development leaders, investors, financial service providers with the Congress have authorized support of the annual operations. Alexander Smith, Acting Director of the Community Development and Financial Institution Funds, January 14th, 2026. The Management Discussion Analysis on under the Community Development and Financial Institution Funds with a wholly owned with government cooperation created with a bipartisan initiative with a Bridgell Company with development the Regulatory Improvement Act of 1994 Public Law 103-325 with a perform a wide range function fulfill its mission with the Community Development and Financial Institution Fund was placed in the United States with the Department of Treasury and begins operation in July 1995. Community Development and Financial Institution Funds has worked for more than a quarter of a century to generate economic opportunity wherever the needed most to accomplish this year with the various programs with the administrative with all aimed at expanding available liquidity with investable capital, financial other services distributed to urban, rural, and Native American communities. People and communities are limited to access financial support. The product lacks of the tools to need with the future build credit with the bill buy a home, start a business, develop affordable home in community facilities as a result of the fewer opportunities to grow and thrive with the joint American economic mainstream of the Congressional Development, the Community Development and Financial Institution Fund with innovation with America, in which all of the people of the communities have access to the investment capital and the financial support they need to prosper. With its mission, expand the economic opportunity and unserved people of the communities by supporting with the growth capacity with the national network of community development leaders, investors, financial service providers. For additional information with Community Development and Financial Institution Fund, please visit www.cdifund.gov. Financial statements are prepared with other report, financial position, financial conditions, result of the operation consistent with requirements of Title 31 United States Code 3515. B. The statements are prepared recorded with the federal entity with accordance with the U.S. General Accepted Accounting Principles of the formats with the Office of Management and Budget with the reports used the department with control of the budget resource of the prepared with the same records. User statements devised with the statements of the components of the U.S. government with the Community Development Financial Investment Fund generates the economical opportunity under the low-income community with the expanding of the active with the credit capital with the financial with the confidence of providing capital through the following activity programs fiscal year with the 2025. Community Development Financial Institution Programs was established in 1994 with the Community Development Financial Institution Funds with authorizing legislation regional community development and regulatory improvement Act 1994 Public Law 103-325. Community Development Financial Institution Fund Program invests in and builds with the capacity of the Community Development Financial Institution, empowering them to grow and achieve the organizational substantial contribute to the revitalization of the community for the purpose of the Community Development Financial Institution Fund program is to increase the capacity of the community development financial institution to serve the low-income people, the unserved community with the program two primary components. Financial assistance award with the grant loan equity awards provide the support of the financial activity of the community development financial institution funds. Technical assistance awards grants provided with the support of the capacity of the building activity of the community with the development of the financial institution fiscal year of 2011. The Community Development Financial Institution Fund launched a healthy Healthy Food Financing Innovation with the Community Development Financial Institution Program of the H Healthy Food Financing Initiative of the FA granted award to support the wide range activity expanding with the health foods for the low income community of the Community Development Financial Institution Program with a fund balance over the Treasury of 255.4 million or 27.7% result of the appropriative fund with the disturbed with the direct loan fund with the balance due with the repay with the debt with the fiscal year with the 2026 or the intergovernmental loan receivable with $48 million, 3% with the representative loan issue with community development financial institution program of the private sector of the parts of the intergovernmental with the advantage of the prepayment, the representative of the grant fund of the head of the district of the community development financial institution fund recipient of not yet with the recognized grant of the recipient head of the award fund of the community development financial institution program the advance payment of $119.5 million debt with incurred with the financial of the community development financial institution program the direct loan with the community development financial institution program has $47.7 million, 3% of the debt owned of the Treasury with the total net representative of the combined with the cumulative of the result of the operation on with the operation with the end of the year with the net change with the unexpected with the operation will represent the grand gross amount of the operation will receive and use. This year, 2025, the Community Development Financial Institution Program will receive $212 million in new operations of the year with the $306.2 million or 42.6% of the total operation of the Community Development Financial Institution Program incurred with grant experience with the result of the recipient reward you with the one of the $305.8 million, 32.8% was represented part of the gross cost of the statement of the net cost fiscal year 2025 of the Community Development Financial Institution Program obligated with more than $84.6 million, awarded 299 Community Development Financial Institution portions of the 2024 and 2025 funding rounds. Community Development Financial Institution Program has outlaid an award from $403.5 million to 609 community development financial institutions from 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2024 funding rounds. Additionally, $0.1 million was recaptured one award for non-compliant. During fiscal year 2025, funding running with the Community Development Financial Institution received with the 502 AFA applications based on this volume, with the program required 33% fewer external reviewers projected with the first step of 3 business plan review result of the projected cost revenue projected cost savings of $123,200 compared with the contract ceiling streamed each step of the review process, reducing the amount of the justification required without increasing the risk of change with expected to save with the approximately 2 hours of the community development financial institution fund staff at the time for the FA application. The Community Development Fund Institution Program is actively aligned funding goals and priorities with the personal ministry of the priorities to provide with the FA and TA awards. Native American Community Development Financial Institution Assistance Program of the NACA program established in 1994 with the Community Development Financial Institution Fund with the authorized legislation, Regional Community Development Regulatory Improvement Act 1994, Public Law 103-325, the initiative of the programs launched with the 2001 Help with Native Communities, defined with the Native American, Alaska, and the Native with the Hawaiian community with the growth and increase with the crest of the credit and with the capital financial services with the building and strength of the Native with the Community Development Fund, so innovation with the NACA with the programs with the community-based organization, with the active with the credit with the capital with the financial service with their communities, which in turn creates a job with the develop the affordable housing, provide with the opportunity of American, Alaska, and Native with the Hawaiian people to obtain with the approved financial service counseling. The NACA program has funding balance treasury with a $40.2 million, 4.4% result of appropriated funding yet with a disbursed with additional with the NCA program with advance payments of $3.2 million, or 2% of the fiscal year 2000 with the NACA with the program received with $28 million, 8.6% of the new operation with the use of $34.9 million, 4.8% of the total operation. The NCA program incurred with the grant expanded with the recipient reported use of the award funding of $30.49 million, 3.7% of the part of the gross cost saved with the net cost of the NCA The NACA program obligated to fiscal year 2025 more than 5.7 CA awards to 20 community development financial institutions to the proportion 2024-2025 funding rounds. Fiscal year 2025 of the NACA program outlaid award of funding of 46.0 million or at 41 community development fund innovation uh, institutions from 2021, 2022, 2024 funding rounds. This year, 2024 funding rounds, staff have identified streamlining area that each step of the review process of reducing amount of justification required without increasing the risk of the community domestic community development funding and investment funding anticipated with the implemented change with approximately 2 hours of the community development financial innovation fund staff with a time period with the FAA application of the NCEA program actively align funding and goals priority with the professional administrative of the priorities provided with the FA and TA awards. Depository institution includes Bank Enterprise Award Program, the BEA program established in 1994 through the Community Development Funding and Institution Funding Authorization Legislation Regional Community Development Regulatory Improvement Act of the Public Law 103-325 of the Budget. Bank Enterprise Award Program recognizes and seeks and expand an important role of the traditional banks for their play for the community development of the Bank Enterprising Award program provides monetary awards federal insurer of the bank for the demonstrate with the increase of the lending of the investment service the activities most economically distress with the community served with its community development financial institution with the bank enterprise awards program defines most economically distressed community with those with at least 30% of the residents' income below the national poverty level where unemployment rate with at least 1.5 times the national unemployment rate with a program of the target community with the greatest need to generate economic opportunity for those with the least economic access to the financial products and services. The Bank Enterprise Aid Award Program funding balance in Treasury of 40.1 million, resulting appropriated to fund yet dispersed. This year, 2025, the Bank Enterprising Award Program received $40 million in the new operations, with 0.3 million or 0.04% of the total operation. Bank Enterprise Award Program outlined the funding of the $40.1 million, 168 community development financial institution from the 2024 round. Small dollar loan program, or the SDL program, the small dollar loan program authorized with the Dodd-Franklin Wall Street Reform Consumer Protection Act. Public Law 111 and 203 was with the enacted with the Consolidated Operation Act of 2020 with the Public Law 116 with the 93 Small Dollar Loan Program that helps to survive with the Community Development Funding Institution will address the issue with expanding with the consumer access to the mainstream of the financial institution provided with alternative high cost small dollar loans, prevalently a low income community with a program provided with loan loss with the reserve of the TA grants to help survive with the Community Development Funding and institution offered with a fair, affordable small dollar loan products for the community with the unserved with the mainstream financial institution small dollar loan program has a fund balance of the Treasury with $9.8 million, 1.1% of the result of the appropriated fund yet to be dispersed with additional small dollar loan program. Grants prepayments of $4.4 million, 0.6%. The financial official year 2025 of the small dollar loan program received with $9 million of the 2.8% with the new with the operation due with the 7.9, 1.1% of the total operation of the small dollar loan program outlined at award funding with 0.2 million with 11 community development funding institution from the 2024 funding round with the DII has enhanced with a streamline with the Banking Enterprise Award Program and the small dollar loan program application received with its community development funding institution funding awards management information system with improved the cloud validation accuracy of the user experience result of reducing burden of the application community development funding institution fund staff. The DI is actively aligning with the funding and the goal of the priority of the Ministry of the priority to provide with the future award. Capital Management Fund, or the CMF, enacted with the Housing Economic Recovery Act of 2008, Public Law 110-289, with the Capital Magnet Fund was created to spur investment with affordable housing with the economic development initiative with a secure low-income facility with a low-income community with the crowd of the nation. Capital Magnet Fund provides awards for the certified with community development funding institutions of the nonprofit affordable housing organization of the well preservation rehabilitation purchase affordable housing related to economic development of low income community with the community capital management fund Capital Magnet Fund award recipient with required financing support over the 10 times of the grant amount of the eligible project cost of the Capital Management Magnet Fund has a fund balance of the Treasury of the 291.0 million, 31.6% was all of the restricted funds of the government-sponsored enterprises. Funding yet to be dispersed with additional of the Capital Magnet Fund of the advance prepayments of $360.1 million, or 53.3% of the Capital Magnet Fund that does not receive the congressional appropriated funding, with however the restricted funds reciprocated with a government-sponsored enterprise with the fiscal year 2025 was recognized with $116.5 million as operational statement of budget reserve of the Capital Magnet Fund incurred with the grant expense with the result of the recipient's reported award funding with a 255.1 or 27%, which represented as part of the gross cost of the statement of the net cost of the Capital Magnet Fund obligated with a 246.4 million awards with the 48 organizations for the 2024 funding round with the development of affordable housing community facilities serving low-income and individual families with the community with the fiscal year 2024 with the Capital Magnet Fund outlaid awarded with funding of $247.9 million with 50 community development and financial institutions from 2023 to 2024 funding rounds. Fiscal year 2025 with the Capital Development Funding Institution funding and investment in the building of the Capital Magnet Fund program application, as well as complying with the reporting function of the improvement that reduce the cost impact. General stakeholder with the internal of the Capital Magnet Fund with the program compliance staff with the managing all of the applicants complying with the amendments required of the number of the Capital Magnet Fund awards. Over the management grows of additional Capital Magnet Fund reassessment, environmental review, regulation related guidance confirmed with a highly unlikely with the Capital Magnet Fund projects or with the trigger federal environmental review requirements associated costs, which are budgeted with a cost of up to $150,000 per year with the Capital Magnet Fund actively aligned with the funding and goals priority with the presidential administrator of the properties of the provided for future award of the capital the community development funding and institution bond guarantee program enacted the Small Business Job Act of 2010 and the Capital Domestic Funding Institution Bond Guarantee Program respond with a critical market depending on the long-term, low-term capital where they can be used with the spread of the economic growth in low-income communities. Capital Community Development and Financial Institution Bond Guarantee Program accelerates economic revitalization low-income communities. Give it a community development funding institution active as a significant source of long-term capital, unlike the other community development financing institution funding programs. Community development funding institution bond guarantee program does not offer grants instead of the federal credit program designed to function at no cost, so the taxpayer with a bond debt instrument that must be repaid with capital demand. Community Development Funding Institution for Bond Guarantee Program has a fund balance of the Treasury with a 10.7 million or 1.2% with the result of the direct loan fund balance to be used with a repay with the debt of fiscal year 2026 or with the intergovernmental loans receivable debt with $1.6 billion or 97% of the representative with a long issue with the Community Development Funding Institution Bond Guarantee Program. The private sector borrower of the debt is incurred with the financing of the Community Development Financing Institution Bond Guarantee Program. Direct loans of the Community Development Financial Institution Bond Guarantee Program has a $1.6 billion or 97% of the debt owed with the Federal Financing Bank and Treasury. For the fiscal year 2025, the Community Development Financial Innovation Bond Guarantee obligated $100 million over the one over the Community Development Financial Institution outlined as a warrant fund, being $215.7 million 11 Community Development Funding Institution for the 2019 through 2024 funding rounds. The Community Development Financing Institution Bond Guarantee Program strictly the negative subsidy program generate with revenue over the life of the program over the Treasury with rather than costs. New Market Tax Credit Program and the MTC Program enacted for the Community Renewal of the Tax Relief of the 2000 with the Public 106554 with the New Market Tax Credit Program was established to attract the private investment unserved community with offering a tax credit to the investor with the most significant obstacle with the economic development of the low-income community with a lack of access with the private investment capital. New market tax credit programs are designed to attract new private investment with a qualifying business located with a low-income community generally defined with a population census tract with at least 20% with a poverty, 80% less with the median with family income of the business that are owned employees serve with a low-income and with the target population. The new market tax credit program to attract with a private investment permitted the individual corporate investor with a receipt of the tax credit against federal income tax with the exchange of the making qualified equity investments in and specialize with the financial intermediary certified community development entities. This year, 2025, with one of the Big Beautiful Bill Act of 11921, permanently authorized the new market tax credit program and emergency support program included community development funding institution equitable recovery program and the consolidated operation of 2021 public law 116-260 that provide $1.8 million for the community development funding institution funds for the community development funding institution transfers from the economic impact of the coronavirus disease with the COVID-19 pandemic over the community domestic funding financing institutions are meant to be expanding the lending of the grant making of the investment activity of the low and moderate income communities with the power of the significant with the capital financial with the need of the where disproportional impact of the COVID-19 pandemic award also with the community development funding institution builds with the organizational capacity for technology staff with the other tools necessary with the accomplishment the activity only application around with the community development financing institution ERP equitable recovery program was awarded in fiscal 2025. The community development funding institution economical recovery program was a funding balance treasury of 57.6 or 6.3 for the result of the appropriated funding we get disbursed for the additional community development funding institution with emergency recovery program advanced prepayments with $178.4 million 26.4% fiscal year 2025 of the Community Development Funding Institution Emergency Response Program 334.1 million 46.4 Operation Community Development Funding Institution Emergency Recovery Program grant expense with the result of the recipient reported award of the funding $228.5 million 335.3% of the revenue of the gross cost for the statement of the net cost. Community Development Funding Institution Emergency Recovery Program outlaid awarded the funding of the $141.9 billion with 139 Community Development Financial Institution recaptured with $0.8 million two awards with found to be non-compliant. Community Development Funding Institution Rapid Response Program and the Consolidated Operation Act of 2021 Public Law 116-260 with provided $1.3 billion of the Community Development Funding Institution Fund for the provide with the grants enable to provide with the community development funding institution support prepare for respond with the economic impact of the COVID-19 unlike the community development funding institution funds with the competitively funding program the community development funding institution rapid response program formula based grant program designed to provide awards for the eligible applicant with the only applicant around with the community domestic funding innovation rapid response plan was conducted in the fiscal year 2025 with the capital domestic funding capital development and funding institution on the rapid response program is winding down with the anticipated recognition of the remainders of the recipient use award of the fund and stay with the net cost of the shape of the chain with the net position fiscal year 2025. Capital domestic development and funding institution rapid recovery has a fund balance of the treasury of $2.8 million 0.3% result of the appropriate funding award of the grantee with the subsequent recapture of the T obligated with the fund balance will be returned to the treasury general fund with the fiscal year 2026 additional the capital community development funding institution recovery program has advance of the prepayments of $0.2 million 0.002% fiscal year 2025 of the capital development community development funding institution rapid recovery uses $3.3 million in operations community development fund institution rapid recovery program incurred with a grant expense with the result recipient reported use award of $3.3 million 0.4% representative of the gross cost of the statement and the net cost. The Community Development Fund Institution funds with the annual performance report will be issued with the March 1st, 2026. The report will be available at www.cdif.gov news events. Analyst system and control of legal compliance. Community Development Fund Institution Fund Management with the responsible managing risk, maintain effective with the internal control financial management statement with the objective of the Federal Management of the Financial Integrity Act, Federal Financial Management Improvement Act, and the Community Development Funding Institution institution funds with the conduct of its assessment of the risk and control of the according to the Office of Management Budget Circular A-123 with management responsibility and enterprise with the risk management and internal control, which includes comprehensive of the risk base with internal control, evaluation of the plan, including the methodology as notified with the documents, key control of the provides for the assessment testing with the control of the obtainment of the response for the assurance with the control of the designated with the implemented with the operating in fact. Community development funding institution funds with the centralized financial management budget with the formulation, hosting service to provide with the bureau virtual service the administrative of the resources with the shared service approach with engage with the community development funding institution funds with the action with the core financial statement without the habit of maintaining the separate technical system architects using shared service to reduce with the community and use their community development funding institution funds with the maintain with the financial management system, thereby promoting with the efficiency with the cost saving with the measure with the enhancing the quality, timeliness, accuracy, financial management process with the FFMIA required by the federal agency implemented with the maintain with the financial management state with the sequence and comply with the federal financial management systems requirements of the app of the federal accounting standards of the U.S. standard general ledger of the transaction level component of the Treasury community development funding institutions run with the SS with the financial management statements for the annually for the conformance accordance with the Office of Management Budget A-123 Appendix D with the compliance with the Federal Financial Management Improvement Act of 1996 community development financial institution funds with the FS with the ARC with the financial management statement showed systems as part of shared service arrangement for the rely with the SSARC with the service organization control type 1 type 2 with the report FSARC FFMAIA assessment conducts a review of the base and result of the assessment with the internal control financial management system referred to above with the community development funding institution funds with the provide reasonable assurance of the accordance with section 2 with the FMFIA it is community domestic fund institution funds internal control over operations reporting compliant with the laws regulations was operating effective with September 30th 2025 in addition with the community domestic fund development funding institution of the fund with the provide reasonable assurance with the September 30th 2025 community development fund institution fund financial management statement is substantial conformance with the federal with the financial management statement requirement section 4 with the FMFIA. Alright, independent auditors report with the Deputy Inspector General of the United States Treasury with the acting with the Director of the Development of Financial Institution Fund with the report on with the financial statement opinion with the financial statement of the Community Development of Financial Institution Fund compromise with the balance sheet with the September 30, 2025 with the related statement with the net cost change with the net position budget with the retro with the end of the related notes with the financial statement of the opinion with the company with the financial statement that presents fairly with the all the material with the respect with the financial position with the Community Development Financial Institution Fund with the separated as September 30th, 2025 with the net cost, change with the net position budgetary with the retro with the end of the account with the U.S. General except with the account principal basis over the opinion we conduct with the audit with the audit extend with the generalized except with the United States of America GAAS change with the applicable financial audit with the contain with the government audit extend with the issue with the comptroller with the government with the general of the United States with the Office of Management Budget Bulletin with the 2402 with the active auditing reform with the federal financial state with the other responsible with the others with the Office of Management Budget Bulletin with the number 2402 with the further describe the audit responsible with the audited financial statement in the section with the report with the required with the independent community development financial institution funds with the to meet with the other ethical responsible with the accordance with the relevant ethical requirements of the relating with the other opinion or audit. We believe the audit evidence is with the position with the appropriate with the provide with the basis of the audit opinion or the matter interactive with the data with the management has select with the reference for the information on the website with the other form with the interactive with the data outside of the agency financial report to provide with additional information you with the financial statements with the information required with the financial statement and supplementary information required by with the federal accounting standard with the standards advisory board information on the website with the other interactive with the data has not been subject to any of the auditing procedure according with the will does not express the ending of the opinion with the provided assurance on it responsible for the management financial statements with the management with the responsible for the preparation of the fair presentation financial statement that according with the U.S. generally accepted the accounting principles design implementation made with the internal control relevant in the preparation fair presentation financial statement are free from the material of the misstatement with due to fraud or error. Auditors responsible for the audit financial statement, the objective of the determination of the reasonable with the assurance with the financial statement that are whole and free with the material with the misstatement with the due to fraud with the error the issue with the audit report that includes our opinion reasonable assurance with a high level of assurance with not absolutely accurate assurance with it there is not with a guarantee with the audit conduct with accordance with the government accounting audit and exchange with the Office Management Budget number 2402 was with the detective with the material statement with its with the risk is not detective with the material with the misstatement the result of the fraud with the higher with the one result of the the error of the fraud that may involve the conclusion, forgery, the internal omission, misrepresentation, override of the internal control of the misstatement, with control of the material with a substantial likelihood of an individual of the aggregate would influence the judgment, but it may reasonably usually be based on the financial statement of performing the audit according to the government auditing scheme of the Office of Management Budget bulletin number 2402 with the exception of the professional judgment and intent personal with the captive of the audit with the identify with the exception of the resist with the material statement of the financial statement of the duty control of the error of the design of the form audit procedures representing those of the risk of the such of the procedures include with examining with the test basis of the evidence regarding with the amount of the disclosure of financial statement that pertain with the understanding of the internal control relevant audit in order to design with the audit procedure for the appropriate with the circumstance with the purpose of the expressing an opinion with the activity community development, the funding institution with the funding internal control with according no such opinion with express the value of the appropriateness accounting policy with the view of the reasonable significant accounting statement estimates made with the management of the value of the overall presentation of the financial statements will conclude with the in or judgment with the condition with events of the consider the aggregate with the range of the substantial with the doubt with the community development funding institution fund of the ability with the consumer the going concern with a reasonable period of time when we require to communicate with those charged with the governing regarding the other management of the plan scope of the assignment auditing with the funding certain internal control related to management identified during the audit with the required supplementary information used generally with except for the accounting principle with the required of the information management the discussion and analysis with the required supplemental information section present supplemental with the basic financial with the table of the information responsible for the management of the other part of the non-fin basis financial statement that required with the federal accounting standards advisory board with the reconsider with the review of the essential part of the financial reporting placing over the basic financial statement with appropriate operational economic historical context which has been applied certain limited to perceive the required supplementary information with the government accounting standard with which to consider the inquiry with the management with the method of the preparing with the information comparing with the information that consists of the management response to our inquiry with the basic financial statement that with the other knowledge will be obtained with the order or during audit with the basic with the financial statement that did not with the opinion with the provide assurance with the information because of the limited procedure not provide sufficient evidence to express the opinion with the provide any assurance other information management is responsible for the other information with the agency financial report over the information complement issue with the director of the table country with the other information summary of the financial statement and over the audit of the management stream with the appendix with the glossary acumen that did not include with the financial statement of the report thereon or the opinion of the financial statement that does not cover the other information with the next with the opinion with the any form of the assurance thereon in connection with the other audit of the financial statement that responsible for the review with the other information with the material inconsistent existed between the other information financial statement with the other information otherwise appear to materially mistake based on the work performed we conclude with the uncorrected material misstatement with the other information exists with the required to describe the other report other reporting required government accounting standard of the report internal control over the financial report of the plan performing over the audit of the financial statement as and or of the year of the September 30th 2025 with the committee development funding institution funded with the internal control over the financial reporting with the internal control of the basis of the design audit with the procedure with the appropriate with the circumstance with the purpose of expressing of the opinion of the financial statement not with the purpose of expressing of the opinion effective with the community development the funding institution funded with the internal funding internal control of the accordingly will it not express the opinion with effective with the community development the funding institution fund internal control with the typically internal control relative to the objectives, operating objective that broadly defined by the federal managers of the Financial Integrity Act of 1982. The deficient internal control exists with the design of the operational control of the design at level of the management employ with the normal course of the performance sign function, with the detective of the corrective of the misstatement of the timely base of the material of the weakness of the deficient of the combination of the deficient with the internal control such that there with a reasonable possibility of the material of the mistake, any financial statement that was not prevented, or detective of the corrective of the timely basis of the deficiency of the deficient with the combination of the deficiency in internal control of the lesser review of the material of the weakness of the important of the merit of the some of those charged with the government of the consideration internal control was limited to the purpose of the describe of the first paragraph of the section but was not designed with the include definitely all of the deficiency in internal control that might be the weakness of the significant deficiency given the limitation of during the audit when it did not identify with the deficiency in internal control of the material of the weakness. However, the material of the weakness, significant deficiency may exist were not identified. Report of compliance over the matter of the obtaining of the responsible assurance of the community domestic with the funding institution fund for the financial statement as of the year of the end of the September 30, 2025 with the free with the material of the misstatement with the performing the test complying with certain provisions of law of the regulation contract with the grant agreement of non-compliance with which could drug with the material of the financial statement however providing an opinion with the compliance with the provision of the objective of the audit of the according with the next reference such of the opinion resolve of the task of the scope of the instance of the non-compliance of the other matters required to be reported with the government auditing standard of the Office of Management budget with the number 2402 for the purpose of the other reporting requirement of the government auditing standards. Report over the communication with the internal control over the other financial reporting, complying with the other manual with the section of the scope of the description of the scope of the testing, internal control of the complying with the control of the testing, and not provide with the opinion of the effectiveness, community development, the funding, institution funded with the internal control compliance, communication, integral part of the audit performed, and according to the government auditing standard, the community development, the funding institution, internal control, complying with the according communication, not suitable for any other purpose. CMPG LLP, Washington D.C., January 14, 2026. Shows the balance sheet. Another state. So let's look at the balance sheet. We have intergovernmental total, intergovernmental, other intergovernmental total assessment, intergovernmental, total intergovernmental, total liability, net position, unexpected operation, total unexpected operation, consolidated cumulative result of the operation, total cumulative result operation, total net position, total liability, net position, statement of the net cost for the half of the community development funding innovation program gross cost less earned revenue with the net program cost of the NCA program, the depository, the CMF, Capital Magnet Fund, Community Development Funding Institution Bond Guarantee Program, Emergency Support Program, New Marketing Technique, Trading Program. Same change in the net position, unexpected operations, cumulative result operations. These are the charts. Same budgetary resources. Notice of financial statements. Something with the accounting policy, with the community development financial institution funds, with the government, with the cooperation, with the with the bipartisan, with the initiative, with the ratio of the community development, with the regulatory improvement act 1980 with the public law 103 through 25. Community development funding institution funds, with the relationship with the Department of Treasury, with the beginning with the operation of July 1995, with the community development funding institution fund operates with the various programs with available to credit investment with the capital finance, or all of the strip of the distress with the urban rural, with the Native American community, with the community development, community development, the funding institution fund over the mission with the economic opportunity, the unserved, with the people, the community, with the vice support, with the growth of the network of the community development, the lender, with the investor, with the financial service, with the provider, with the major program of the community development, the funding institution fund, with the R of the community development, the financial institution program, Native American, the community development funding institution assistant program, with the bank enterprise award program, the small dollar loan program, and the capital magnet fund, the community development, the funding institution bond guarantee program, the new market tax credit program, and the community development, the funding institution rapid response program, and the community development, the funding institution equitable recovery program, community development, the funding institution program provide financial assistance, technical awards for the community development funding institution funds with the term of the provide with the financial private, the complementary service with the creative, the community development impact on served market of the financial assistance for the award for the taken from the grants loan, the direct loan with the investment with the technical assistance with the provide with the charter with the early state with the community development funding institution, and explaining with the become the community development funding institution with the NACA program provided with the grant with the community development funding institution prevail with the capacity of the need with the community development funding institution serve with the prime of the Native American, Native Alaskan, and the Native Hawaiian communities. The Bond Enterprise Award Program provides incentive with an ensure with the deposit of their institution bank threats with an investment with the community development funding institution create with the lens of the financial service of the distress community program participants to select with the base of the program achieve the award with the dispersal of the activity implemented successfully secure the only completed activity with the recognize with the community development funding institution limited dollars effectively leveraged for the private capital. Small dollar loan program out with the Dodd-Franklin Wall Street with the Reform Consumer Protection Act was the next with the Consolidated Operation Act for the 2020 Public Law 11693, the purchase of the small dollar loan program with the provide with the grant for the loan loss for the technical assistance enables for the community development funding institutions to maintain small dollar loan programs. The Capital Magnet Fund with the Funding Act with the Housing Economic Recovery Act with the 2008 with the provide with the competitively award grants with the Community Development Funding Institution called with the nonprofit housing organization with the word with the community with the financial the form of the housing activity to relate with the economic development activity include with the community share with the facility with the award recipient can utilize with the funds create with the financial tools such as the loan loss for the reserves and with the revolve with the loan fund sharing loans with the loan with the guarantee with the organization receive with the community capital management fund with the award with the financing housing with the community development and investment with at least with 10 times the award amount. The community development and funding institution with the bond guarantee program with the Woods Action Small with the Business Job Act with the 2020 with the community development funding institution manager with the program secretary with the treasurer with the either the direct loan with the full amount with the bond issue with the community development funding institution with the make investments for the eligible community with the economic development the purpose of the bond with the community development funding institution only with the investment with the providing for the long-term patient capital with the community development funding institution with the new market tax credit program and enacted with the community renewal of the tax relief act with the 2001 and public 106 with the 554 with the provide with the tax credit with the allocation of authority with the community development entities receive the credit with the attract with the private sector with the investment with the receive of these investments with the community development purpose with the capital development funding institution funding with the grant program with the community development funding institution bond guarantee program with the tax allocation with the authority with the of the CDE with the community development and even they have no effect with the financial statement of the community development funding institution. Fund. Community Development Institution Rapid Response Act, Rapid Response Program was enacted with the Consolidated Operations Act of the 2021, Public Law 116 with 260, but the program was designed to quickly deploy and capital with the grant served over the Capital Development Funding Institutions for the reform of the economic impact of the coronavirus disease or COVID-19 pandemic. The Community Domestic Financial Institution Emergency Response Plan was enacted with the Emergency Response Program with the Public Law 116 and 260 with the program was designed to provide with grants, community development, the funding institution with expand with the lending, with the grant making, with the investment activity, loan with a moderate income community development that has experienced this portion of the economic impact of the COVID-19 with a pandemic, based with the accounting principle and presentation with the accompanying financial statement that have the community development, the funding institution accounting with the records conform with the U.S. General with accepted accounting principle direct federal entity with the office of management, Joe Ledger with the trickle with the number A136 of the financial reporting record that provide the accounting principle generally accepted with the federal entity over the chain with the prescribed federal accounting standard with the advisory board with the American Institute with the certified public account with the recognized with the federal accounting standards advisory board with the official accounting standards sitting board with the U.S. government certain presentation disclosures with the maybe modified with the need with the prevent disclosure classified information financial statement the consist of the balance sheet with the table with the net cost with the table with the changes net position statement with the budgetary ratio with the table related with the notes of the single year format present for the fiscal year with the 2025 with the information stage with the understanding that there are components of the U.S. government with its sovereign entity. The intergovernmental asset with the liability with the due with the other federal entity with the infinite governmental earned revenues collection with the accrual with the revenue with the other federal entity with the intergovernmental call for the payments of the accrual with the expenditure with the federal entity with numerous acronyms trail with the notes here and other sections of the agency financial report referred to with the glossary acronyms are located in the appendix of the report with a complete list of the acronyms defined. Funding balance of the treasury with the funding balance over the treasury composed of the appropriate borrowed funds with the funding financial and accounting with available to pay with the liability financial the authorized war with the purchase amendments also will include with the restricted fund of the government's finance enterprises. You the finance and activity capital magnet fund investment procedure for the transfer of the Treasury emergency capital investment program with the funding balance of the Treasury amount with the representative with the commitment of the U.S. government to provide with the resource of the capital particular program to do that and represent the asset of the government as a whole with the community development the funding institution fund with it does not maintain cash of the commercial bank accounts with the Treasury process cash received with the disbursement loan receivable net with the community development the funding institution makes with the direct loan certain with the community development the funding institution program and the bond guarantee program and award with the community domestic funding funds account with the direct loans with the provision of the provide reform account pursuant with the Federal Credit Reform Act of 1990. The account with the credit reform program receivable the community development funding institution fund with apply with the accounting provision with the same of the federal financing accounting standard with accounting with the direct loan with the loan guarantee with the tender the SSFA with the statement of the federal financial accounting standard with the 2 with the requirement to measure with the assets liability with the net present value with the estimated future cash flow with the cash flow of the estimate of the earned credit program transaction reflect the actual structure of the instrument. For each of the instrument, the community development funding institution fund estimate with the inflow of the outflow with the validity of the program estimated terms of the instrument with the firm. Each of the cash flow of the estimate reflects the special term of the conditions of the program. Technical assumption regarding the underlying the asset of the risk of the default of the other loss of the other factor of the property of the mention of the asset of the program primarily derived from the input of the generally represented with the market with the data such that it is not available to management with the best estimate with the how to mark participants would access for the certain inherent risk. The primary purpose of the Federal Credit Reform Act with the measure of the cost of the federal credit program with the place for the cost such of the credit program with the basis equivalent federal spending with the Federal Credit Reform Act requires that the ultimate cost of the credit program is the calculate with the budget resource for the obtained before for the incurring with the direct loan obligation of the community to develop the funding institution fund for the calculate with the direct all of the direct loans is subsidiary to the estimate with the reestimate according with the Office of Management Budget Circular A11 the preparation submission execution of the budget section 185 of the Federal Credit Office of Management Budget 811 and section 185 of the fiscal year 2025 of the community development funding institution fund for the presenting able to secure the appropriated authority Office of Management Fund fully account with the present budget reestimate for the community development funding institution program with the community development funding institution beyond guarantee program direct loans result community development fund institution fund for the request for the granted approval of the Office of Management Budget foregoing estimate to estimation subsidiary costs for the community development funding institution program with the community development funding institution bond guarantee program direct loan with a decision consistent with the Office of Management Budget Circular A11 in section 185 of which state with the technical reassessment re-estimates of the subsidiary costs of the cohort or direct loan guarantee with must be made after the close of each of the fiscal year loan with the outstanding with a different plan with the pre with the Office of Management with the representative with the primary budget with the representative responsible for the credit account with the community domestic with the funding institution funds with the unrecorded with the budget president's budget with the reestimate with the would have a net impact with $4.9 million with the balance sheet with the 6.7 million statement with the chain with the net position 2.7 with the chain with the net cost September 30th 2025 with the community domestic fund institution funds with the first prediction with the estimate with the future performance with the direct loan with the plan with the annual budget community development funding institution funds for the subsequent with the reestimate with the data you with the budget estimates September 30th with the reflected change with the actual with the loan performance with the actual interest rate with the effect with the loan for the position with the reestimate with the data reflect with the adjustment with the market rate for the performance over the key valuable variables economic factor with the community development funding institution fund with the U with the reestimate with the data report with the adjustment with the cost of the direct loan with the distant with the recognized within the net program and the cost line with the community development funding institution program with the community development fund bond guarantee program with the reflective on the statement of the net cost cash flow with the associated with the community development funding institution fund credit with the program generally include with the disbursement repayment of the repurchase with the fee with the recovery with the interest with the borrowing with the treasurer with the federal financing bank with the renegotiated subsidy with the subsidy cost with the receipt of the program account with the community development funding institution fund with the drawing loan level of the operations with the assumption with the with the base of the cash flow with the amount with the forecast of the program performance lively available the market search with as well with the information published with the direct loan with the key input with the assumption with the cash flow with the forecast include with the not limited to security chart characteristics stuff the unpaid principals balance coupon rate with a weighted average loan with the age with the credit rating with the maturity with the date with the principal interest payment the schedule with the performance with the underlying collateral discount rate with the community domestic funding institution funding acts as well as change with the legislation forecast principal the interest paying prepayment the late payments for the prepayment the rates for the default rates for the historical payments for the default with the recovery report with the movies with the team with the fours and published with the record subsidy costs associated with the credit program with the representative of the difference between the disbursed and the amount of the net value with the future of the cash flow with the community development funding institution running anticipated the receiving subsidy along with the initially established subsidiary cost of the tax institute with the conservation project with the prepayment with the default with the project with the cost of the borrowing with the community domestic funding institution funds amortization along with the reflect with the difference between the projected actual of the financial cost of the liability associated with the accrued with the downward subsidy with the reestimate of the recognized with the duties of the general fund line of the balance sheet with the community development funding institution funds for the action with it as well as the change of legislation making for the impact for the future of the cash flow relied subsidy cover the community development funding institution funds for the reckoning of the cost savings with the modification subsidy with the cost for the term of the program with the modified with work over the action maximize with the repayment of the existing with the credit program with the accept with the average of the non-cash on cash flow with the include with the original with the estimate with the reestimate with the subsidy with the cost estimated cost of the impact of the reestimate with Make sure the result of the update of the original program with the specific cost assessment estimate that reflect the actual cash flow of the chain with the forecast of the estimated future cash flow associated with the credit. Program with a direct loan with the president of the balance sheet with the loan, receive with the net line with with the note forward with the loans, receive with the net for the information property plan with the equip with the net with the fund community development fund investment with the innovation community development fund institutional fund property plan with equipment of the SF with the compromise of the internal use of the stuff with the QCA with the GFI with the file with the chain with the SFFAS 10 accounting with the internal software with the capitalization cost with the during with the include with the delivering with the development of the design software with the refiguration code with the hardware installation, payroll processing, after with the management authorization commits with the software with the development project with the community development, the funding institution fund for the accumulates the cost of the developing internal use of software with the working development with the project with the placement and the service, community development funding institution funds with successfully complete for the testing financial acceptance for the uncomplete with the community development funding institution fund transfer the cost of the depreciable property with the fund armament with the cost internal use of software, use straight line method over the estimated useful life of the range line with the 7 and 10 year with the pursuing of the treasury with the guideline with capital life for the rest range, the threshold of the range of the community development, the funding institution fund of the established capitalization threshold of the $125,000 internal use of software to $50,000 with a personal property plan and equipment as of the remainder with the SSFA. Number 6 with accounting, property plan, equipment, and 10 with the funding, with the management, with the conclude, with the threshold, with the appropriate level, with the do that material, with the distro, with the financial statement, effect, with the comparable from year to year. September 30th, 2025, with the net book value with the community development funding institutional fund with the internal use of software was $14.7 million, compromised $41.8 million, called with the net over the $27.1 million cumulative authorization community domestic funds for the received $3.5 million amortization expense for the official year ended with the September 30th, 2025. For the advance payment of the community development funding institute fund distribution of the grant awards may be due with the award of the cover of the part of all of the anticipated qualified expense of the community domestic fund of the fund of the initial aid reckoned with the dispersed amount of the advance for the benefit of the cash flow extended to beyond the fiscal year with the during of the program fund with the appropriate with the dispersed for the fund with the receipt with the reduced advance for the report of the estimated amount of the qualified expense with the incurred with the grant accepted and receipt during the fiscal year with the outstanding balance with the advance of the net adjustment incurred with the grant expense for the fiscal year expense with the report with the advance prepayment of the balance sheet with the recipient with the incurred with the expense of the report with the sale of the net cost with the within the gross cost line restricted with programs with the accounting policy with the risk uncertainties with the estimate of the note number 5 with the advance prepayment with the additional with the discussion related to the estimate and advance of the grant awards. All right, we're going to stop there at G Investment Net.